Okay.
Take that!
Well, would you look at that? The two tails are exactly the same. Yes, exactly. The two stuffed animals are based on entirely different animals. But the design of their tails is exactly the same. Ah! Order! Order in the court! As long as the possibility exists that the tail belongs to Bum Friday, we can no longer consider it to be decisive proof that the defendant handled the bomb. As things stand, to consider charges against... Oh, yes, of course, Your Honor. Oh, no. Uh-huh. Yeah, not over yet, but at least we managed to hold out this long. I believe that brings our proceedings for today to a close. Mr. Payne, I'm afraid you have some serious investigating ahead of you. Yes, Your Honor. Very well, let us reconvene tomorrow. Court is adjourned. December 17th, 11:56 a.m. District Court. Defendant Antechamber. Lobby number 5. That's so exciting, boss. We did. True to form. Gee, I never knew you had such a glowing opinion of me. Thank you for everything. You did great, Miss Woods. You really stuck it out. And you got really brave at the end, just when we needed you most, Junie. Thanks to you, we were able to turn things around. Well, you would have won. Of course. Without you, we would have never gotten out of that tight spot. That's what I like to hear. Analytical psychology. The ability to solve the riddles of a person's heart. Athena's true potential is beginning to really shine through now. Hey, where's Apollo anyway? Good question. I almost forgot about him. I assumed he'd still be here in the lobby. Oh, I know. Maybe he's still in Courtroom 4. Courtroom 4? What'd he be doing at the scene of an explosion? When I came out to the lobby for rest, I told Apollo... How do I drop right? I was trying to escape before the blast, and then... Apollo said you... Really? Huh? I guess Apollo can be pretty nice when he wants to. So you went looking for Viney together before you were called back into courtroom number 5? Yes, I had some time to rest, so I was able to go and look for him. But then they called me... And... No, that's not good. With all those injuries? Oh no, he's... Wonder where I was. He told me in the crime things clear and just maybe he found some new piece of evidence. Anyway, I better go and get him. Good idea. I hate that. The fact those are the only 2 voices I can do.
Where are you, Apollo? Trial's over for today. Come on, I know you're... No.
Oop. To be continued. Continue to the next chapter. Of course. December 18th, 9:34 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. This isn't exactly how I envisioned the second day of this trial to go, but given how things ended yesterday... Good morning. The mood sure is tense. Not that that's any surprise. Oh, hey. Huh? Huh? The paper? That came out in left field. You didn't read it? That is about as plausible. That is about as far-fetched as Gordy in the 4th trial of the first game. Tell me you know the difference between a paper and a tabloid, Athena. Might show up in the forest where you live, Junior. So you better watch out, okay? You really should be decide for yourself. Justice? Huh? F. What we found yesterday was not Apollo's dead body, thank goodness. He'd been assaulted by someone with a blow to his head and was lying unconscious. We rushed him to hospital right away, and it looks like he's going to pull through. But it was still quite a shock to stumble onto a scene like that. Is Mr. Woods alright, Athena? Miss Woods! God damn it, this is twice I've done that now. Well, managed to get her to stop crying. Now she's resting on herself for a while. I guess she really feels responsible for what happened to Apollo. Oh, Jimmy. She believes that the reason Apollo was attacked is because he was helping her look for something like... Oh? Guess I can see why she'd think that. By the way, how are you doing? Who, me? Yeah, you. I know you're concerned about Miss Woods, but are you alright? Me? I'm doing fine, boss. I'm doing just fine, boss. I mean, yeah, it was a huge shock, but I'm alright. People who've studied analytical psychology agree at times. Somehow, I don't think it's as easy as she makes it sound. But there's no denying she's a real trooper. Apollo doesn't remember a thing, does he? Yeah, he can't recall anything from the time right before he was assaulted. Nothing about what he was doing in courtroom before or he would assault him. Assaulted in a court of law and losing your memory at that. I know how that feels. Hey, only difference being you weren't smashed on the head with a rock, you were smashed on the head with a fire extinguisher. But who knows would do such a thing? Huh? No, Athena. I thought you said you were in control of your emotions. Let's just focus on helping Miss Woods, okay? Well, maybe I'm just as upset as you. That's the spirit. Now, let's see. I better check the call record one more time before the trial starts. Earth to Mr. Ryan, wherever you are. Alright, let's get ready to rumble. With everything that happened with Apollo, I didn't have time for a proper investigation. Can't let that stop me, though. I have to get this right, for Miss Wood's sake. And Apollo's, too. Court will now be convened for the trial of Juniper Woods. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Now then, I believe I instructed the prosecution to further investigation. Were you able to locate the remote switch in question? I'm afraid the remote switch is still missing, Your Honor. I must say I'm disappointed, Mr. Payne. Not angry, just disappointed. I apologize, Your Honor. Aha. Looks like the prosecution is just as unprepared as I am. There is a separate matter, however, that I would like to bring up during this trial. A separate matter, you say? And what might that be? I assume you are aware that another incident occurred during yesterday's trial. I'm speaking, of course, of the assault on Mr. Justice in the ruins of courtroom number 4. Why is he bringing that up? Yes, what a truly harrowing experience it must have been. Poor Mr. Justice. At the time of the attack, Mr. Justice was not alone. He was with the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods. He isn't going where I think he's going with this, is he? The prosecution wishes to indict Miss Woods on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Payne, the incident under deliberation here is a courtroom bombing. The assault on Mr. Justice has nothing to do with this trial. But I believe there is a connection between this case and Mr. Justice's assault. Please take a moment to consider these facts. Both events occurred in courtroom number 4. This is the location in courtroom number 4 where the unconscious Mr. Justice was discovered. As you can see, it's quite close to where Detective Arms. The question is, why did the culprit feel the need to maliciously attack Mr. Justice? You fucking asshole. Why indeed? What do you believe their motive to be, Mr. Payne? I believe Mr. Justice found something in that courtroom while Miss Woods was with him. Evidence that fingered her as the perpetrator of the bombing. You mean he found some incriminating evidence? Precisely, and so I surmise that the defendant picked up a piece of rubble and hit Mr. Justice on the back of the head in order to silence him. Jeannie would never do such a thing. She was devastated when found the phone. Miss Sykes, please control your outbursts. It is the prosecution's belief that by deliberating on Mr. Justice's assault, we will draw ever closer to the truth of the courtroom bombing itself. Very well. Miss Woods is hereby officially indicted on the charge of assaulting Mr. Justice. What? Why are you listening to Mr. Toupee over there? Although, considering our conversation yesterday... Maybe the two incidents really are related after all. I would like to start by hearing from the defendant herself. Very well, bailiff, please bring Miss Woods to the witness stand. I'm sorry. Can't seem to stop. Miss Woods. Guess you're still really upset about Apollo. Miss Woods, you went to the ruins of courtroom number 4, Mr. Justice, did you not? Yes, I did. Good, good. If you would, then please testify about what happened to the court. During the trial yesterday, During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing. So, Mr. Justice stayed by your side while you were feeling unwell. What an admirable young man. I thought his loud voice was his only outstanding feature. He may look like a little imp at times, but Apollo can be really nice too. I hope she didn't hurt her wrist backhanding that one out. What one has to wonder? Why did Mr. Justice stay behind in the ruins? I think Apollo might have figured something out. Something? What kind of something? Something to do with the courtroom bombing, kind of something. Huh? I think. Oh, new evidence for the case, was it? That's a very big kind of something indeed. I believe so. You mentioned looking for some evidence.
Objection!
Just as I thought. There is a connection between the two incidents. But the defendant has told a very big lie, Your Honor. What lie is that? When she learned Mr. Justice would be looking for evidence, she attacked him. She attacked him to give herself the chance to destroy that evidence. No, I never...
Objection!
Miss Woods repaid Mr. Justice's kindness with violence. Sheesh. He lacks presence but has a massive fucking ego. I kid you not. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a single... I know this is fiction, but I wouldn't be surprised if in this one or the second, Nick wasn't tempted to rip his toupee off. He found the proof of her foul deed there in the courtroom ruins. What on earth? You see it, there in front of Mr. Justice's right hand. Witness the message he left us. It's written in blood. W-O-O-D-S. Why, isn't that... That's right, John. It says Woods in capital letters. What? I submit that Mr. Justice left us with the name of his attacker before he fainted. No, that can't be true. Why was that? If I know. Hey, don't take it out on me. I don't understand any more than you do. When we discovered Apollo yesterday, we didn't even have a chance to rush over to him. As soon as security heard Athena's scream, they ran in and cordoned off the area. After that, we were in calling number 4 of Apollo the whole time. We can investigate anything ourselves and not leave everything to the police. Still, I never thought they would find some bloody writing there. Now then, please begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Hold it!
Do you always cough when you get nervous, Miss Woods? Yes. Mr. Wright, please do not make Miss Woods nervous by pressing her so ruthlessly. Well, that barely even qualified as a quasi-question. Let's help him relax for a little small... Her crushes? Really? Don't know about this.
Hold it!
Why exactly did you go to the Colin ruins? Medicine. Really? Your medicine? What would your medicine mean column number 4? Dropped in the room. And phony Fanti is the same type of bullet. That's where the bomb was inserted. the way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of ancient god. Bit of an ironic comment, since Apollo is the Greek god of wisdom, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, wait. So that's why you went to the ruins, I see. That seems to be quite an important fact. Please add it to your testimony, Miss Woods. Okay.
Objection! Objection!
So he started his search with the witness stand, you see. That's right. I guess maybe he wanted to start from the first point. There's been some... But that's odd. Under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been capable of that. But he was. No. That's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. What you're claiming is something that no one should have been able to do. But I should think that anyone can be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Wright. True, anyone can be brave and kind, but if you would please take a look at this diagram. With the dichotomy in this state, how was it possible to walk up to the witness stand? I see your point. The rubble blocks off access to the area around the witness stand.
That's such a tiny little inconsistency in matter. How is the witness simply misremembering it? Hey, being someone with memory problems, I take offense to
that. Great. No, I'm not so sure it matters.
A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know?
Judge, fuck you. But that's precisely what Mr. Wright does best. I call slander, Your Honor. So was it really impossible to approach the witness stand? I have to say, it's a bit hard to tell with any accuracy from just this diagram. Mr. Payne, do you have any other photos of the crime scene?
Let me see, Your Honor. Ah, yes, I have one more. Here it is. It's a more pulled back version of the photo I presented before.
Huh? What's that hunk of metal on wheels? Mr. Payne, is a metallic object in that photo Mr. Tony's bomb transport case?
That's right. Is there some problem?
Ah, yes, that transport case was there in courtroom number 4 when the bomb went off. Miss Woods, have you remembered something?
Yes, I just realized its position. It's different from before.
Its position? The position of what?
The position of that big metal thing?
The bomb transport case?
Yes, when Apollo and I went there, it was in a different place. With the cases in
the... I see. So where was the transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it? To the right. And that means... In that case, the case was over there... In that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack.
Who cares where the transport case was when? What difference does it make? It has nothing at all to do with what we were talking about.
Objection!
Has everything to do with this. In fact, at some point that's enough to turn the prosecution's argument on its ear.
What?
Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. And you sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack. Yes, Your Honor. This diagram represents the crime scene, as shown in the photo. And this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault of Mr. Justice. Alright, I have this. The bomb transport case was here at the time of Apollo's attack. But that's...
Inconceivable!
Miss Woods, was this where the transport case was when you saw it?
Yes, that's where it was.
Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noted an interesting fact about this position. The transport case covers up the writing in blood.
Exactly.
If the transport case was in that position at the time of the assault, then no message could have been written there because the case was in the way. Which leads us to conclude that Mr. Justice couldn't have left that bloody writing.
Why should we believe the defendant's claim that the case was in a different position? She's obviously lying.
Objection!
The fact that the case was moved after the assault on Mr. Justice is proved by more than Miss Wood's testimony alone.
What? And where is this proof you're talking about?
It's right here in the crime photo. I'm keen to see this proof myself, Mr. Wright. What in this photo indicates that the transport case was moved after the assault?
Take that!
Nope.
Take that! Take that!
Please take a look at the mark that runs over Mr. Justice's bandages here. I see it, but what is it? This mark was made by one of the casters from the transport case carrying the bomb. As the case was moved, it ran over his bandages. In other words, the transport case was originally to the right of Mr. Justice. Then, after Mr. Justice was assaulted, the transport case was moved.
What?
Just as Miss Wood said, the case was covering the writing at the time of the assault. Therefore, it was impossible for Mr. Justice to have left that message in blood.
No!
You did, boss. Now you'll buy her. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, that was a very clever deduction. Yeah, there was nothing on it. Nothing but pure genius. Think now. Boss, I'm sensing a definite smug and braggy vibe coming. I have just one question, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. If Mr. Justice didn't leave this message in blood, then who did? Huh? What?
Ow.
Well... Looks like I should have taken that train of thought through to the end.
Well, I've heard a lot about this. So this is Mr. Wright's famous bluffing technique, is it?
Ah, this feeling, it brings back memories of the old days. Back when you carved out a name for yourself by bluffing your way through thick and thin. Gee, Mr. Wright, just gonna make some...
You made your arguments with such confidence, Mr. Wright. I'd like to hear your answer with just as much confidence.
Hey, until the judge asks the question, you didn't catch on either, Buster.
Oh no. I hope you didn't bluff your way into a corner.
Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way through this. I have to dig my way to the truth somehow. You could have written that message in blood. The culprit. Apollo didn't leave that bloody writing. That seems like the most reasonable explanation. Good thing Apollo didn't use that much blood. That might have been a factor in why he survived the assault. But if it wasn't his attack, then who else could it have been? Who could have written that message? If it wasn't Apollo, who could have left? Gasp in pain!
Take that! Take that!
To be honest, I don't actually have any real proof of this. I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Besides Apollo, there was one more person who shed blood at this crime scene. A person who shed blood? You don't mean... Oh, but I do. I believe it was Candace's arm who left behind this message in blood. What? What? Detective Arm? Are you sure you know what you're doing here? Not really.
Objection!
What kind of ridiculous assertion is that? If you had said the attacker left a message to throw people off, it might have made sense. At first glance, that would seem to be the most reasonable explanation. However, Apollo didn't shed enough blood to write such an extensive message. Yeah. L1001. Oh, I see. Even the photo makes it clear there wasn't enough blood to write whole letters. Mr. Justice did survive. I suppose he didn't bleed very extensively in that case. But why would Detective Arm write the defendant's name? There is no connection between the two whatsoever. They have never even met each other. That's very true. Well then, let's see. Maybe the intended meaning of the message is not what it appears to be. The intended meaning? Not what it appears to be? Maybe the message was not intended to be Woods. Coming from you, that's quite the bold statement, Mr. Wright. You wish to assert that bloody writing could have some other meaning? Yes, Your Honor. For something I'm pulled out of... Well, it could turn out to be true.
Objection!
It clearly says Woods, as anyone can plainly see. What other meaning can it possibly have? But Candace Arm was a detective. Maybe Woods only means something to the police. Like a police scanner code, for example. I didn't think of that. Well, yeah, you don't have a brain. You have the defense and prosecution do all the work for you. You may have tricked his honor, but you'll never get the best of me. I have a thing for studying on the weekends, as you may have already guessed. There's no such radio code as Woods in this state, dear Mr. Wright. Is that a fact? Don't look at me. I know as much as you do about police code. Enough of this. I was quite taken with the defense's new theory. But if they cannot substantiate it with anything, then must end things here. No, please wait, Your Honor. Very well, but before we discuss this theory any further, I demand a plausible explanation. So, Mr. Wright, what is the true meaning of the bloody writing? Well, I believe it's... And no stalling! If you can't come up with an answer quickly, I will declare this discussion officially over. In trouble now. What other meaning could it, besides the obvious one? Maybe it means something in another language? Or maybe it's a code. Think, Phoenix, you can do this.
Take that!
The bomb transport case? I've about had it up to here with your shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Take a look at the numbers on this case, L10015R. Doesn't this string look vaguely familiar? L100? What does that have to do with anything? What could those numbers possibly have to do with the case at hand? Now please take a look at the bloody writing shown in the crime photo. Oh, I think I see it. There we go, that's one on my side. It says Woods! Or, you could say it's a horse of a different colour, Your Honour. The first character isn't a W, it's actually an L and a 1, next to a zeros. Oh my goodness! The true meaning behind the bloody writing isn't Miss Wood's name. It's the number engraved on this bomb transport case.
Objection!
What are you talking about? Next part doesn't make any sense. Next number is a 1, but the bloody writing says D.
Objection!
But the number on the case and the bloody writing can be made to match up quite easily.
What? Fuck. Please erase the third downward stroke of the W and the curved part of the D. Well, would you look at that? L-I-O-O-I-S? No, Your Honour, it isn't meant to be read as a word. It's number L10015, which, if you take away the final R, is the exact same number that's on the bomb transport.
Erase two lines and they match up, you say? Well, I can change anything into anything else simply by erasing two lines. What if you erase two lines from your name? Would you be happy as Mr. Vi?
Well, would you, Mr. Vi? The only right spelling is right. Okay, I'm doing pretty well here, and I think I've drawn the right conclusion. Detective Arm's real message to us is the bomb transport case. Your Honour, the two lines were added by the real culprit to intentionally mislead people.
What?
The original message Detective Arm left behind was a transport case number. But whoever assaulted Apollo changed the message. You're right, boss. Then what do you suppose Detective Arm was trying to tell us? Good question. What does this number represent? Do you see this number here? That is my identification number. Candace Arm lost her life in the Cotton bombing. Her dying message could only have had one purpose.
No!
To tell us the name of the one responsible for the bombing. Well, don't keep us in suspense, Mr. Wright. Tell us who she was trying to name. The culprit that the victim was trying to identify is none other than Apollo Justice. The defense wishes to indict Mr. Ted Tonate on the charge of the Colin bombing. Ted Tonate? Apparently, disabling bombs isn't Mr. Tonate's only specialty. Somehow, the victim must have realized that he was the bomber. So when she was caught in the blast, she left his bomb transport case number as her dying message. Plus, you can see...
Objection!
Why would anyone go out of their way to write an ID number? Wait a minute.
Yeah, there's a fucking arm right there. Do these lot not bother to use their eyes? You can see...
When they simply write the person's name.
Got a good point there. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright?
Not only Detective Arm would know the answer to that, but let me talk out a theory. Perhaps Detective Arm couldn't recall Mr. Tonate's name in the heat of the moment. As I recall, this was the first meeting between the two. It's entirely possible they wouldn't have been familiar with each other. Or maybe using the ID number was a way to hide its true meaning. That's along the outside of the race. But no matter what the reason, the important thing is the meaning behind her message. The fact remains, she wrote Mr. Tonate's ID number.
Objection!
Now just one moment here. There hasn't been any proof yet that it was indeed Detective Arm who wrote it. Bloody writing wasn't found during the investigation after the blast. If Detective Arm had left a message, it should have been found at that time.
Objection!
Naturally, Mr. Tonate hid it before anyone could discover it. And there's a simple explanation for how he was able to do so. What? Mr. Tonate was able to cover the message up because he's
a stickler for details.
I was the first one on the scene after the explosion. I went there to ensure safety, but I ended up discovering a dead body. When Mr. Tonate saw that the victim had written his ID number, he used the bomb transport case to cover up the bloody writing as a stopgap measure. Oh, so that's what the message... He didn't have enough time to try and scrub away the writing. If he didn't report the body right away, he would look suspicious. So those letters lived on to serve another function. And Mr. Tonate used them in another incident.
Oh, they're sort of Mr. Justice.
Exactly. Mr. Tonate hit upon a plan to use the bloody writing for his own purposes. So he didn't clean it away. Instead, he made it look like Mr. Justice wrote it. By adding 2 lines to the writing that Detective Arm left behind. He changed the meaning of the message. He made it look like Mr. Justice was accusing Miss Woods of the attack. So that means the only person who could have altered the bloody writing was a Cortland bomber. He was the same person that assaulted Mr. Justice. And that person is Ted Tonate.
Order in the court. Order, I say. Looks like we'll have to hear from the bomb specialist himself. Mr. Payne, please have Mr. Tonate take the witness stand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just doing what I do best.
Just flying by the seat of my pants.
Dismantling the case is yours. Do you think you can handle it? I look forward to seeing you try.
I've finally drawn Mr. Tonate back onto the witness stand. Looks like you'll get your wish, Goggle Man. Now watch me take your lights apart.
Mr. Tonate, I'm afraid we have a few more questions for you. I understand the situation, Your Honor. I was keeping a close eye on the proceedings from the gallery. The allegations are all laughable.
Objection!
I would be laughing if I were you, Mr. Tonate. The message in blood matches your ID number. The same ID number that is there on that bomb transport case. Such a far-fetched theory. No better than a tangled ball of wires. I'll have them untangled for you in no time at all. You were the first person on the scene after Detective Arm left her message in blood. You were the only one who could have hidden the writing and then used it again later. I see. Times 2. But then, let me ask you, do you have any proof that Detective Arm wrote that message?
That's a very good question. Well, do you, Mr. Wright?
The best way to prove that Detective Arm wrote that message is to analyze Your Honor, I request that a DNA test be performed on the blood itself. Once we know whose it is, it will be obvious as to who wrote the message.
Request for DNA test from the forensics team.
We can't get a handwriting analysis from a dead body.
It'll be some time before we have the results of the analysis. Until then, let's hear more from the witness.
I would like nothing more, Your Honor. I want the court to hear how ridiculous the defense's theory is. I admit I was the first one on the scene after the explosion, but there was no bloody writing there at the time. Anyway, there's no way Detective Arm could have written it. She struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. She was too far away from where the bloody message was found. So you're saying that the victim's body was nowhere near where the writing was?
Precisely.
It is as plain as day that she could not have written it. It is true that the body was discovered near the entrance to the courtroom. Please have a look at this crime scene photo. As you can see, there is blood on the rubble near the victim's body. She must have died after hitting her head there.
I see. All right then, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
Do you have what it takes to take my infallible testimony apart?
Objection! Hold it!
Why were you the first person on the scene? To secure the area. It is regulation for a bomb disposal specialist to enter first. In other words, you had the opportunity to alter the bloody writing then, didn't you? Well...
Objection!
Mr. Wright, please don't interrupt. Mr. Tony is about to give testimony that will show just how wrong your reasoning is. Darn, I think he was just about to say something interesting too. When I went in and saw the aftermath, well, it was quite the disaster.
Hold it!
You were able to tell this even with the goggles on? With these goggles, there is no way I could have missed something like that. I can see quite well with them. In fact, I can see every hair on your spiky head. Oh, you have a few grays, Mr. Wright. What? Oh, Mr. Wright, you're always working so hard. Wait a minute, I don't have any grey hairs. Just kidding.
Objection!
I object to witnesses' attempt to prematurely give me grey.
Mr. Tony, this court frowns upon untoward comments on a person's hair or lack thereof. I mean, look at me, I have no hair.
I'm sensing a great wave of sorrow coming. My apologies, Your Honor. May I please continue my testimony? If she didn't write it, then who do you propose did? Mr. Justice, of course. Just before dying, he wrote the name of his attacker, Juniper Woods. He's not dead. A final message from your poor subordinate. Poor Mr. Justice, I'm starting to get all misty-eyed. I thought he's not dead, folks. So how can you be so sure it wasn't Detective Arm? It is very simple. She had struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance.
Hold it!
Do you imagine she was thrown back by the force of the blast? A bomb can inflict damage not only from the explosion itself, but also substantial secondary damage from the blast wind. Detective Arm unfortunately hit her head on some rubble. Stated in her autopsy report as well, cause of death, trauma to back of head. The autopsy report. Better take another look at that. How do you see? Detective Arm could not have written a message. The reason for that being...
Hold it!
Isn't it possible she could have crawled to the area of the bloody message? If that were true, then how did she return to the spot near the entrance? Maybe she crawled back after writing it? Hey, this guy just... Hey. Would you like to get down on the floor and give us a demonstration of your theory? Huh? No, thank you. Victims... Quite the conundrum. So that means something is off somewhere. There must be a contradiction. What if that was done by the real culprit after the fact? If that's the case, then something about that might contradict the evidence we have.
Objection! Objection!
There's something on about my brain cells. I'm gonna have to think this through.
Ah. Ah, this will make my brain melt, so farewell.